So this is a big time for us because this actually ties in well with the title of my presentation, which is a modernized and results-based ICT framework to strengthen institutional governance, administration, productivity, outreach, visibility, and engagement. I know I've said a mouthful, but we'll break it down into what is ICT, prioritization of ICT for effective governance, the CRFM strategic planning framework, the phases of evolution, new ICT outputs, data virtualization for M&E, and our 2023 priorities. So ICT, information and communication technologies, is defined in the UNESCO glossary as a diverse set of technological tools and resources used to transmit, store, create, share, or exchange information. These tools may include computers, internet, live broadcasting technologies, and of course, video conferencing like we're using today. So keywords here: information dissemination, knowledge management, organizational ICT, digital communications, visibility, social media. So since the inauguration of the CRFM in 2003, it has placed a very high priority on ICT for effective institutional governance and stakeholder engagement. So the first strategic plan, which ran from 2002 to 2012, as well as the second, which ran 2013 to 2021, and the one that we're implementing now, which is the third, 2022 to 2030, all identify communications as an underpinning function of the CRFM's entire governance framework. So looking at the first phase, then the priority was information dissemination and data services to support the programs of the CRFM, enhancing its impact on the sector with a focus on the fishing industry and fisherfolk organizations. So you may remember the CRFM news and the website being two of the main channels. So we were doing stuff in print as well as electronically from back then. So now we moved into phase 2, which started 2013. And this is when things really evolved to a new level. So the strategic growth in the CRFM's ICT framework actually reached its pinnacle during this period. And of course, this would not have been possible without the alliances that the CRFM has forged over the years. The support of its 17 member states and also international and regional development partners. And so two key things here are the website of the CRFM, which the new version that you're seeing now, it's been there some years, but it's still new. It was actually developed and deployed under the ACP Fish 2 project, and then the CRFM portal, which has a more specific purpose for sharing resources, data sets, a lot of documentation, and I invite you to go there. This was under the PPCR project. So this was a regional track of the pilot program for climate resilience in the Caribbean. Another thing here is the use of virtual technologies. So like we're doing today at this conference, in 2021, the last Caribbean Week of Agriculture, we had that virtually, and we had a major ministerial meeting at that time. And there was an important milestone. 12 CRFM member states signed the Copenhagen Declaration and endorsed the Blue Justice Initiative. And this was a big deal for us. You can see there some of our ministers signing away. And this is all a part of the fight against transnational organized crime. We posted some of this information on our social media, so photos, the album is still there if you would like to check that out. So mentioning social media, we know that in this period, there is a rising influence of social media, and we have established several outlets. So as you can see here, there's an online presence now going beyond the website of the CRFM. And we invite you to connect with us, to network with us on these channels, because we do share a lot of information and updates. You know, we actually share a lot of information on this conference itself and the webinars, other activities, and of course, we share information from partners we find interesting. So please connect with us, and also we would like to reciprocate that. So turning to our goal here, we want more effective collaboration. We want to be able to enhance that communication like Dr. Innes spoke about just now. And so this conference actually is a great example of us working towards achieving our goals. So this has not been an arbitrary process. This has been planned, and planned strategically as a part of the CRFM's third strategic plan, under the functional goal to implement good governance practices for the organization through emphasis on supporting implementation of a results-based management philosophy, approaches, and tools, and then the functional goal. But to complement that, there's also a resource mobilization strategy. How are you going to garner the resources needed to get this done? So very strategic. And we actually track and monitor, you know, we try to use the SMART goals to see, all right, we say we want to do this, how do we measure, is it realistic, and all of those things. And we've been tracking and monitoring where we've been achieving our 30% target and where we've been failing, right? And so it's a work in progress there. One of the other things I'd like to mention is ICT to address climate change and disaster risk management and mitigation. So some of you may already know about Fewer. It's an application that was developed under the same PPCR project. And this really is a work in progress. But again, this is an initiative that has been ongoing through collaboration, right? And of course, with the beneficiaries in mind. So here you see where there was a workshop and people were testing out the app. So it's been piloted in certain Caribbean countries. And the goal there is to improve and scale up and out so that others can benefit. So let me just quickly talk about some key tools. Here we use Google Workspace, and it's a great tool for information sharing. And there are also other tools that we use. Some of them are free, and some of them you have to pay a subscription for. And so we've been using these in addition to our mail out. And we recently launched the Fisheries Food Safety Hub. And this was through partnership with ICA under the EU-funded 11 EDF SPS measures project. So in addition to that, we worked on developing the e-library, again, under the same partnership. And I'm just showing you some of the tools that we use, some of the things that can be found there. And under that initiative, we also improved the body of work that is housed in the CRFM data portal. So everything is interlinked, everything is interconnected, and we try to build, of course, upon the previous work. So we also developed an industry directory for private sector establishments, and you can get that through our website. And as Dr. Wade had mentioned, through a partnership with the FAO, there is now a registry for aquaculture and a digital library. And of course, if you've been accessing the information for this conference, you'll see that we have a dedicated page where you can get all the information. The presentations will be loaded there. Also, the webinars that we've been conducting, we also have a resources page. We try to use as many of the tools as we have. And this one here is just to show you how, when you register, we have set up tracking reports, right? So we can track registrations, how many people say they'll come all days, or maybe just on day 4. We can see when registration spiked. which was just around the time the conference was opening, right? We can look at the sex ratio, we can look at the age breakdown, because we ask you to fill that out. And so this is really great because this feeds into our whole reporting. And once we design these things, we don't have to go back and design again. We just, as the information comes in, it updates automatically. So we also feed this into our reports. So for the webinars, we have webinar reports. For the conference, same thing, right? So we're making use of all the tools that we have. And this falls in line, of course, with our 3 main priorities. And the first one is to promote the CRFM and its work in the context of the 20th anniversary campaign, to reprioritize the use of our website for information dissemination, updates, and knowledge sharing. As you know, a lot of people now rely on social media, right? But the website is really a powerhouse of information, and the data portal is accessed through that. So we really have to promote that some more. And then, of course, increase those hits by 30%. So I want to thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we are literally right now looking at ICT at work.
I know, right?
That's literally what we're doing. And, you know, one of the suggestions I saw in the chat was that we can have a forum every 6 months. And, you know, it's in this current atmosphere and age that we're living in, there really is no excuse for us not to come together, because we have the platform, right? And we can save some trees and go green by not flying planes all over the place, right? To really come together and discuss a lot of the topics that we dealt with today can literally form panel discussions and future discussions, working sessions where we actually come out with, you know, documents and action plans. So there's a lot of potential, and it's wonderful that we have this mechanism whereby we can come together. So bye for now.